Lean is a business strategy focused on employees and learning. By using lean practices, you'll learn to master your work, solve the right problems, and provide more value to your customers. Understanding lean performance measurements is essential for a successful lean transformation. Lean organizations measure quality to determine if they're achieving built-in quality within their various value streams and cells. An example of a quality measure is first-time through rate or defect rate. Productivity measures are the essence of lean. How to increase output with the same resources. One example of this measure is sales per employee. Since lean organizations consider inventory to be a form of waste, they measure their inventory and strive to reduce it. Delivery is a measure that's focused on meeting customer expectations. One example is percentage orders of goods shipped or services delivered by customer request date. Lean companies measure lead time to determine if they're delivering goods or services faster and, as a result, creating a competitive advantage. Lean organizations understand the primary root cause of cost lie in process performance. Improving these processes over time will result in cost reduction. A safe working environment is an essential part of a lean culture. Lean organizations measure safety as part of their everyday work. Lastly, lean organizations measure employee engagement and learning. The ability to learn and solve the right problems at the right time is foundational to a successful lean transformation. Lean organizations measure quality to determine if they're achieving built-in quality within their various value streams and cells. This strategic lean objective is called Jidoka, which loosely means stop and fix. This concept is also known as quality at the source. Employees use a variety of lean practices to recognize quality problems when they occur in order to stop and fix these problems. Quality is measured at the value stream and cell process levels using either first-time through rate or defect rate. Let's take a closer look at these measurements. To calculate first-time through rate, take the number of goods or services without defects and divide it by the total goods produced or services delivered. The goal for first-time through rate is 100%. Another type of quality measurement is defect rate. To calculate the defect rate, take the number of goods or services with defects and divide this number by the total goods produced or services delivered. The goal is 0%. At the daily sale level, you can utilize the same measurements for first-time through rate or defect rate. Measuring quality is standard practice in manufacturing. However, it's important in service businesses to first define defects in the delivery of a service in order to begin measuring quality. A defect in a service business could be any aspect of the service where a customer expectation is not being met. For example, a defect in a restaurant would be if a customer refuses a dish because it's not the right temperature. Productivity measures are the essence of lean. How to increase output with the same resources. By measuring productivity, lean organizations can eliminate waste and use available capacity to perform more value-added activities. The general equation for measuring productivity is the total output of goods or services divided by the inputs applied to achieve this output. Let's take a closer look at productivity measures at the corporate and value stream levels. A typical corporate productivity measure is sales per employee measured monthly. It's best practice to use a rolling average. This equation can be used for both manufacturing and service businesses. At the value stream level, you can calculate productivity by taking the sales and dividing it by the actual hours worked. The numerator can be sales in dollars, units, or possibly contribution margin. If the cycle time to produce a product or deliver a service is long and sales only occur periodically, then a substitute numerator can be based on value-added work completed, such as value-added tasks completed each week. This equation can be used for both manufacturing and service businesses. There is no specific productivity measure at the daily sale level. The daily schedule attainment measure is linked to productivity, lead time, and delivery measures. Achieving schedule attainment will drive improvement in these aspects of process performance. The purpose of the measure is for a cell or process to determine if it completed all scheduled work for that day. Let's look more closely at schedule attainment in manufacturing versus service businesses. If the production cycle time to complete one unit or deliver one service is greater than 1 day, You'll have to define a standard method to measure daily progress, such as number of tasks completed. To calculate schedule attainment in manufacturing, measure the actual units completed to planned units. In machine-based work cells, the productivity of the cell is heavily dependent on minimizing changeover time. To calculate schedule attainment in service businesses, use actual services delivered to planned services delivered. Lean organizations consider inventory to be a form of waste and strive to reduce it over time through the application of lean practices, tools, and methodology. Lean organizations measure inventory at the corporate, value stream, and daily sale levels. At the company and value stream levels, inventory is typically measured in one of two ways: inventory turnover or days of inventory. To calculate inventory turnover, take the annualized material cost of goods sold and divide this number by average material inventory. To calculate days of inventory, take inventory turnover and divide by 365. The purpose of measuring inventory at the daily sale level is to see visually when production flow is not going as planned. At the cell or process level, inventory is typically measured visually rather than counting. To determine inventory at the daily sale level, compare the actual Kanban levels to planned Kanban levels. Inventory measures are typically used in manufacturing, but they can also be used in service businesses if your supply expense is significant. Delivery is a measurement that is focused on meeting customer expectations and is measured at the corporate, value stream, and daily sale levels. To measure delivery at the corporate and/or value stream levels, take the number of orders delivered or shipped and divide that by the total number of orders. There is no specific daily sale measures for on-time delivery, but schedule attainment is linked to on-time delivery measurements. For service businesses, if cycle times to deliver a service are short, you can use the same equation as manufacturing. If cycle times are long, for example, greater than 1 week, use the percentage of value-added tasks delivered on time divided by the total value-added tasks planned for that time period. Lean organizations measure lead time to determine if the company or value stream is delivering goods or services faster and therefore creating a competitive advantage. Over time, the implementation of lean tools, practices, and methods should result in a significant reduction in lead times across the business. Lead time is measured at the corporate and value stream levels. To calculate average lead time, measure the elapsed time from receipt of an order to delivery of the goods or services. It's best to use a rolling average at the company level, such as a 12, 6, or 3-month rolling average. The equation for the corporate and value stream lead time measures are the same. There is no specific lead time measurement at the daily sale level, but schedule attainment is linked to lead time measurements. The average lead time calculation can be used for both manufacturing and service businesses. Lean organizations understand that the primary root cause of cost lie in process performance. Improving these processes over time will result in cost reduction. The general equation for this measurement is cost as a percentage of sales. Improving a process will result in direct cost savings and/or avoiding future costs. Direct cost savings can be defined as a tangible reduction in actual expenses or investments, which means these savings are reflected in your financial statements. Process improvements can also prevent potential future cost increases, which can be quantified but don't show up directly in financial statements. An example of this is reducing the changeover time on a machine. Reducing changeover time creates more machine availability, but does not result in any direct cost savings. Let's take a closer look at measuring cost at the corporate and value stream levels. To calculate a general corporate cost measurement, take the cost, or sum of costs, as a percentage of revenue measured monthly. For lean manufacturing businesses, you can calculate cost as actual gross margin as a percentage of sales. In service businesses, consider your key costs as a percentage of sales. An example of this is total labor costs, which is significant in most service organizations. An alternative cost measurement at the value stream level is actual cost per unit. To calculate the average actual cost per unit at the value stream level, take the actual value stream cost and divide that by the number of goods or services delivered or shipped. Lean organizations consider employees their most important asset, so they focus on measuring both safety and employee engagement. Safety is paramount to a successful lean transformation. Lean organizations measure safety as a part of their everyday work. Typically, a lean organization wants to measure specific safety incidents and any near misses, which are defined in a company's safety program. Safety is measured at all three levels: the corporate, value stream, and daily sale levels. To calculate safety at the corporate and value stream levels, take the total number of incidents and near misses and divide it by the total number of employees. For daily sale safety measurements, lean organizations often use a safety cross on a visual board. Did the sale or process have any safety incidents or near misses? If the answer is no, color that day green. If the answer is yes, color that day red and record the incident on the visual board. The ability to learn and solve the right problems at the right time is foundational to successful lean transformation. Lean organizations are learning organizations. Lean organizations want to create a culture where employees are engaged and satisfied coming to work on a daily basis. There are a variety of measurements used in this category. Let's take a look at some examples. A lean organization can measure employee engagement at the corporate and value stream levels in a variety of ways. One of these methods is measuring the employee retention rate. To calculate the employee retention rate, take the total average employees over a set time period and subtract that number by the total number of employees that left voluntarily during the same period. Divide this number by the total average employees over the same period. Other corporate measurements can include training hours per person, as well as measuring the continuous improvement participation rate. To calculate a continuous improvement participation rate, take the number of employees engaged in at least one CI event and divide that by the total number of employees. You can use the same CI participation rate to measure employee engagement at the value stream level. There are several measurements you can use for measuring employee engagement at the daily sale level. In addition to using the CI participation rate, other possible measurements include using a cross-training matrix or tracking problems solved per person. When using a cross-training matrix, measure the employee's progress on cross-training for all work activities within a given cell or process. It's essential to create standard work for problem solving. This can take the form of just do it improvements or completing an A3 problem solving report.